What brawler do you think deserves a rework?
Lily, she just has an unhealthy design.
I agree so much. I'm tired of her spamming games.
As a Lily main, I approve of this message.
Just use replant, bro.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
If I say unhealthy brawler, what am I talking about? An obese brawler, because being obese is unhealthy. Be a brawler wearing animal suits, or see a brawler who is unhealthy to the game design. Comment your answer right now. Well, it's obviously option 1. No, but seriously, if you actually thought it was A or B, you're absolutely cooked. But where am I going with this? Lily. Lily is a weird brawler. There are a lot of people who hate her for good reasons, really. I've seen this man before, but it's not in the typical way, where a brawler is completely overpowered or underpowered. She's just kinda annoying, and has some questionable abilities that are just stupid from a gameplay perspective.
You stupid.
In this video I wanted to explain her, why she is so hated, and also some balancing ideas that no one asked for. And I'm really sorry to Shadow for 148 for starting the video like that, because it's kinda mean to take your Lily suggestion and making a rant video about her. But trust me, I don't hate Lily, it's just some of her mechanics. And now let's finally get into the video. Lily is a mythic assassin. At power level 11, she has 8,200 HP, that's a little over average, and just as much as, for example, Ollie. Her main attack is just a simple short-range stab that deals 2,120 damage. She's one of only 2 brawlers that have 2 ammo bars, with the other one being Lumi. Her reload speed is very fast, which means her DPS is over 2,000 damage per second, even with her reduced ammo capacity. The range is the worst part about it though. Usually you want to have about this distance between people to maximize the reach of the attack. With her super flourish, she throws this yellow ball thing that deals 1,000 damage upon hitting an enemy, but that's not really that important. More importantly is the fact that on impact you instantly teleport behind them, which makes this a great tool to close the gap between people. I don't recommend using this on damage dealers or groups of people, because you teleport basically inside of them, which gives most of them a massive damage value, and it puts you at a disadvantage, because if you're that close to them, they can usually kill you in a matter of seconds. There is nothing wrong with this ability. It's fun to use, and most of the time not that hard to counter except if the enemy team only has squishy brawlers. It's also the reason why she has the title Backstabber, because she's good at stabbing backs.
Right behind you.
Additionally, she has the proximity trait, which gives her this circle that follows her around, and if any enemy stands in that circle, her super slowly charges. I swear this is like the 3rd time I had to explain it in this series. Anyways, let's talk about gadgets now. Vanish. Oh god, where do I even start with you? It's the gadget you love using and hate fighting against. Pussy! After using it, you instantly enter the Shadow Realm for 3 seconds. The Shadow Realm is a separate world where all the walls are the same, but all the players disappear. After 3 seconds, you reappear where you were in the Shadow Realm. If you still don't understand what this ability does, just watch my Cordelius video where I explain the Shadow Realm better. The link is in the description. But let me say this again. By pressing one button, you can just completely disappear and walk around freely for an entire 3 seconds. This means you could theoretically bring a Lily down to 1 HP, just for her to gadget, because she didn't felt like dying. You can also use it to ambush enemies, because seeing a Lily gadget can be enough to make them stop shooting your teammates. If you go into a bush before you pop the gadget, they sometimes won't even expect it at all. The cooldown is also not that long. 22 seconds is still enough to spam it, and with the gadget cooldown gear, the cooldown time is reduced to 19 seconds, and even worse is that it starts counting down instantly after you press it. In the end, you only need to wait 16 seconds to become almost invincible for 3 seconds. And I know you usually can't attack anyone while in the Shadow Realm, but it just doesn't seem fair to me to give her a get out of jail free card if she messes something up or just doesn't want to interact with you. But how do we solve this problem without ruining the fun? Well, here's my balancing idea. Instead of always giving you 3 seconds in the Shadow Realm, the time you spend there now scales based on your current HP. The number of seconds is calculated by dividing your HP by 1000, then dividing that result by 2. So if you have 8000 HP, that gives you 4 seconds in the Shadow Realm. At 6000 HP, you get 3 seconds, and once you're down to 1000 HP or lower, you only get 1 second. This means it's even better at ambushing now, but worse at the 1 HP scenario from earlier. Additionally, the cooldown now goes from 20 seconds to 25 seconds because while being in the Shadow Realm, it already starts counting down, even though all other abilities that do something similar only start counting down after the effect of the gadget. This would hopefully solve most of the problems I have with it. But now let's move on to Vanish's younger brother Repot. Let's play a game first. The game is called How Often Did D1Brawl Use Repot in This Game? Comment your guess now. It's once. In this entire 7-in-1 game, I've used it once, and it was just to showcase what it does. This just shows how goddamn situational this thing is. But what does it actually do? Well, it has a 10-second cooldown, and you can only activate it when your super is already charged. After activating it, your super transforms from this normal ball into this throwable ball that travels over walls and does twice as much damage to enemies on impact. But the downside is that it travels abysmally slow. It's basically the equivalent of an Ender Pearl in Brawlstars.
An Ender Pearl.
Its main use is to catch enemies by surprise, and it does a pretty good job at it because no one ever expects you to run this thing, so I won't change anything about it, even though it has like a 1% use rate. Her first star power Spiky gives your next stab after using your super an additional 1060 damage. The only way to lose the damage bonus is by dying. You also become purple. Purple guy! Which shows everyone that you have a damage buff. 1060 damage is quite a lot, and it allows for a more aggressive playstyle. The damage buff actually stacks with the damage gear and hyper buff, which means you can use it to deal up to 4400 damage with just one attack. It's a really fun star power, and there are way more people that use it in comparison to the second star power because her second star power vigilance isn't really that good. With this ability you run 15% faster, as long as there is someone in your supercharging radius. Usually movement speed buffs are OP as hell, because having faster movement speed usually means that you can outrun people or be better at dodging. But in this case, giving up the extra damage that you can use to absolutely destroy most brawlers is just not worth it. I would rework it into an ability that I call Bushwalker. You now permanently have a 10% movement speed buff that increases to 20% if you're running inside of bushes. It's more of a buff than a rework, but I think this would make it way better while not making the other star power obsolete. And that's kind of it. Thanks for watching. I definitely didn't forget anything. Goodbye. I am not even exaggerating when I say that this hyper is just simply unfair to fight against. It can bounce off walls, which isn't that good. It's just there, I guess. But here is where it gets stupid.
You stupid.
If you get hit by her hyper super, you and her instantly get teleported into the Shadow Realm for 5 seconds. That doesn't sound that bad, right? I mean, the only thing that changes is that your team disappears, right? Wrong, because while you're in the Shadow Realm, your gadget and super gets disabled. This means that the only brawlers that even have a chance of not getting killed by her are some damage dealers and tanks. Literally every single other brawler is completely cooked. And I didn't even mention the fact that she also keeps the stat boosts while in the realm. And if you say that you shouldn't get hit by it in the first place, and if you do it's a skill issue, well yeah, I know. But it's still not a very fun ability, at least for the person fighting against it. So here is my rework. I call it better backshots. Every time you hit someone with your hyper super, you now deal critical damage with your main attack, but only from behind. Critical damage means twice as much damage. This would be really OP for her, because her super is the perfect tool to get behind people's backs. This effect disappears after the hypercharge is over, and also the mechanic where it bounces off walls is kinda funny, which is why I would let her keep it. This rework is also a bit more of a buff, but at least you still have a chance to get away from her. Usually when I play with her I use her Vanish gadget together with the spiky star power, together with damage and gadget cooldown gear. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really curious to see what your opinions on my Lily rework are, and also thank you for the suggestion. But anyways, goodbye.